If the parents are aggressive, will the children become aggressive? If the parents are kind and helpful, will children imbibe those qualities? Let me take you into another fascinating experiment in psychology called the Bobo Doll Experiment. This experiment is, on one hand, very fascinating, but the results are also very unnerving. And when we talk of Bobo dolls are nothing but inflated dolls. Some things like you get a clown or a joker. But the experiment is not about the clowns. The experiment has got some serious implications of how we learn, especially children watching adults. So let's dive into this experiment. So what's the deal with these inflatable dolls? Back in the 1960s, a psychologist named Albert Bandura started this experiment basically to learn how do kids learn by watching others. He called it observational learning. Basically, monkey see, monkey do. But instead of monkeys, he used children and the Bobo dolls, the inflated clowns or the jokers. And let me tell you something, the experiment got very intense. Here is how it worked. Bandura had kids watch an adult in a room with the Bobo doll. The adult would punch it, kick it, even hit it with a hammer, all the while saying things like, "Take that, pow." Then kids were left alone with the doll. And guess what? They copied the adult's behavior almost exactly. Punching, kicking, even using the same aggressive words. Disturbing, right? Now, before you start looking at every adult with suspicion around the kids, let's talk about why this matters. Bandura's experiment showed that kids don't just learn by being taught by adults, but they learn by watching us. And that's powerful. And it's not just about aggression, it's about kindness, it's about being helpful, it's about solving problems. And that's how we handle our stress. Kids are like sponges, soaking up everything that we do. And here is the kicker. The Bobo doll experiment has been replicated so many times over the years, and the results keep coming back the same. Whether it's in a different culture, different ages, or even with virtual models in video games, the message is clear. Observational learning is a huge part of how we develop behaviors. Now, before we go further, let me just clear up something. The results of these experiments are not written in rock. Kids don't absorb everything that an adult does, whether it's good or bad. Every child who watches an aggressive parent doesn't become aggressive. Every child who watches a parent being kind and generous doesn't become kind and generous. They tend to absorb some of the things. Which one they absorb and which one they don't, that is something very difficult to fathom. But here is the important thing to understand from these experiments, that there's a greater probability that the child will absorb the behavior of an adult around them. Greater probability, not certainty. So what does this mean for us? Well, it's a reminder that our actions matter, especially if you are a parent, teacher, or someone who spends time around kids. But it's not all doom and gloom. This also means that we can use observational learning for good, show kindness, model patience, and demonstrate healthy ways to handle conflict, because someone is always watching. Have you ever noticed that kids mimic adults? We ourselves can say that we have absorbed some qualities from our parents, from different qualities from each of those parents, and we have not absorbed all the qualities of the parents. But if there's a negative quality of a parent, is it more likely to be absorbed, or is the positive quality more likely to be absorbed? Let me know in your comments about what you think about this.